Okay, everybody, my name is DeCall, and I want to talk about the solar aspect of the poem. Is there anything in the poem that leads us to think about some sort of solar connection or symbolisms? The first thing that's obvious, okay, we have 24 lines of the poem, 6 stanzas, and if we see this nice handsome picture of Forrest Fenn, we got a nice little blaze in the background, circle dot, 9 stops along this little trail here. Who knows? Let's look at the poem for a second. Alright, so my theory is that the 24 lines are intentional, and if we were to look at each line as an hour in the day, then that gives us like an interesting approach to this, and I think anybody can use this. Anybody could probably use this in their solve if it helps or if it works. Me and my solve, I think it does help. Looking for the solar symbolisms. My idea is that the last word of the poem is a circle dot. Perhaps even the word alone represents a circle dot. The omegas are circle dots. So let's just look at it, though, also more clearly from a solar point of view. Now, if you notice, I got 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. That's the dark hours, 9, 10, 11, midnight. And these gold hours, 5 a.m. through 8 p.m., could be the daylight hours during the poem. Now, I don't know if you know it, the summer solstice happens on about June 21st every year, coming up in a couple of days. We'll see if Forrest Fenn publishes anything relative to the sun, solar. Forrest Fenn has talked about, let me slide this over here. Forrest Fenn has talked about the scrapbook, what number is this? 148, Winds of Change, talking about the seasons. Nice sort of discussion about the seasons. And I think it's interesting that his when he's in Vietnam, he was rescued on the 22nd of December or thereabouts, 24th of December, which could be the winter equinox. The 265 coins could be the autumn equinox, like 265th day of the year is close to the 24th of September. His birthday is also on the 22nd of the month. December 22nd, winter equinox. June 21st or 22nd or 20th is the summer equinox. Anyway, that's interesting. He has talked in the past. Let's look at this one. Scrapbook. I don't have these memorized like some people. 145. He talks about the bullet when someone found that for him. It's not the exact car, but very similar. And then he mentions Richard Blake, his friend, solar physicist from Los Alamos. Seems strange or odd that he mentions Richard Blake in relation to the car, but he definitely brings up that he's his friend. Well, he's the one that supposedly found the car for him. Interesting. So there is some talk about solar physicists. Okay. And here's a picture of that first X-ray of the sun. I can't get it centered right, but that was done by this Richard Blake. All right, so let's go back and look at the poem for a second. The things that shows me, what's interesting is around June 21st, the summer solstice, we have a 5:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30 sunrise, and we have 8:30 to 9 p.m. sunset, depending on where you live. 8:22 sunset in Santa Fe, 5:30, 5:40, 5:45 sunrise in Santa Fe. West Yellowstone, 5:30 sunrise, 9 p.m. sunset. It seems interesting that begin at where is at sunrise. Begin at where? Warm waters halt. Morning dew, perhaps. Sunset. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. Fits very nicely. 1 a.m. It's interesting. We got the first stanza. We got the first sentence. That's what these numbers here are. The first sentence of the poem, second sentence, third sentence. In the first line, I think there's the number 1 is 3 times. I, gone, and alone makes 1, 1, 1. Certainly points to the idea of 1 for the first line. Line 12 could easily pass for noon, and we see the word high, as in high noon. 13th line of the poem, we see the word blaze. Blaze synonymous with the sun. It seems a little bit silly to think that the actual blaze in the poem is the sun, like the one you're supposed to find when you're out looking for the treasure. But it does, I don't mind the fact that this blaze is symbolic or synonymous with the sun. And then interestingly, the symbol for gold is a circle dot. Let me see if I got it here. I'll just slide it in here. If you Google symbol for the sun, you've got these different icons. Most of them are circle dot. Now, I don't know if you remember Fenn mentioning I didn't take a radial in the one scrapbook. Where was that? Now here's some. If you Google search images for radial, that's some of the patterns that you get. Radial is defined as of or arranged like rays, or the radial of a circle. That came from, I'm not sure. Maybe I've got it here somewhere. All right, so some other quotes that Fenn has. Some other quotes that Fenn always says: "Get out and smell the sunshine." Let me click this poem so you can look at it. If you find the treasure, many of your worries will doze off into the sunset. If you tell your solve to a friend, don't be surprised if she shops at Gucci while you fill your cart at Walmart. And it just reminds me of the Walmart logo. Is similar to this radial. Question by Deb in 2014. Did you really say the blaze is a white streak, or has it, as has been rumored? Thank you, Deb. Thanks, Deb. No, I did not say that. There's a lot of bad information floating around the blogs and many posts that are not well thought out. One person said, I'm paraphrasing, he said the treasure is hidden in the trees, then he contradicted himself, it was in the sun. How could it be both? Makes me wonder if that person has ever been in the forest. I know somebody's gonna... Come on. Yeah, I think it's I think there's some talk about solar ideas. I think what Fenn is talking about is I give you title to the gold. This symbolism of the sun is present. The symbol for gold and the sun is one and the same, exactly the same. I think there's some definite evidence here that there's a solar pattern in the poem. And what could you do with it? I think there's some interesting ideas. If the treasure, I don't know if you noticed this, but the treasure is listed on line 2 and also line 14, which would be 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. So look quickly down your quest to cease is where you would find the treasure the second time in the poem. And surprisingly, that's at 2 o'clock again. I don't know if that means anything. So let's say you take this radial symbolism, or this or a clock face, for instance, a standard clock face. You could perhaps on some location maybe point to 2 o'clock and see some connection there. 2 bells. The double omega, that could be 2 o'clock. Okay? Forrest Fenn in the dancing gypsy picture, he's at 2 o'clock. If you look at the image in Thrill of the Chase book where there's a cross in the picture, Fenn is sitting on the gravestone and the cross is at 2 o'clock position. There's dozens of things that line up with the 2 o'clock position. I think it's interesting. Not sure it helps. We're all looking for some sort of mechanism that gets us closer to the chest. Anyway, have a look at this poem structure here. See if it helps you in your solve. Hopefully somebody can figure this thing out and be done with this poem. All right, thanks everybody.